So good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is having a great Tuesday. So for this meeting, I sent the agenda out last week with the different agenda items. Paula won't be on the call this afternoon. She had an appointment come up, but she will definitely, I think she'll be on a recap meeting tomorrow to join us for the other council members that weren't able to join this afternoon. Hi, Matt. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good to see you. Um, we were just getting started with the agenda. So the first agenda item that we'll discuss this afternoon is National Disability Employment Awareness Month. So that's NDEAM for short. So National Disability Employment Awareness Month is usually held every October. And this is the opportunity for employers to really highlight, what they're doing within their organizations to promote inclusivity and the hiring of those with disabilities. Some of those activities could be, participating in disability mentoring days, as well as establishing maybe employment resource groups, ERG, specifically for employees with disabilities within their workforce and within the organization, as well as reviewing policies. So taking a look at, maybe your disability awareness trainings and policies that you have in place within your organizations to see, is there anything that could be updated or reviewed or better, as well as featuring, National Disability Employment Awareness Month within your social media within your organization. So I wanted to take a pause there and give everyone on the call a chance to maybe talk about, if they have any plans for National Disability Employment Awareness Month in October, maybe, activities that you held in the past, or activities that you're hoping to incorporate this upcoming October. So I'll take this time now to pause. And we'd love to hear from you guys on any activities that you may have coming up.
So we don't have details, but we always do, always, since our organization has been created within the company, we've done an NDM event. We're also doing two things upcoming. So we will have an anniversary of the ADA celebration. And that will be our disability resource group with the Veterans Resource Group. And we're trying to do it in two locations. So both our Bentonville location as well as our Washington, DC office. And then in August, we are working, we've started I guess I would call it a coalition with Starbucks. And it is on retail space accessibility. And we're the founding members, and we're expanding it with other large retailers and large manufacturers, and working to do a launch, like a full public launch of that effort in August, at the end of August.
Thank you, Maria, for sharing. Definitely exciting things for Walmart, with National Disability Employment Awareness Month. And I like that piece, that you mentioned also about the ADA anniversary and being able to partner with Starbucks on accessibility. That's really, really huge. We actually had a lot of participants most recently that I've spoken to that's been interested within employment within Walmart. So we'll love to connect offline within a couple weeks to talk to you about, those participants that we have that want to go through the hiring process with Walmart. So
Sounds good.
Great. So I'll definitely reach out for sure. How about Anne or Mariana or Matt? Any events or prior events for National Disability Employment Awareness Month for October?
Yeah, I don't know if our company has anything lined up, but I do know that we have partnerships with different employers. So this August, I'm going to be participating in a Facebook Live with one of our partners, just talking back and forth, about how their company has changed the lives of some of our clients and, gave them opportunities for work. So that is something I'll be doing.
No, that's awesome. And you guys at My Employment Options, and you do really great work. And a lot of our participants, are interested in going through My Employment Options, specifically, as we mentioned before in prior calls. We have a lot of, older participants who may be receiving disability benefits, whether that's SSDI or SSI, and is looking to return back to work. So your resources and your guidance at My Employment Options have been truly, truly valuable. So thank you so much for sharing.
I can add a few things. I'm not sure about all things that are planned for this year, but I can share that for the last several years, myself or some of my team members on the kind of talent acquisition side of things, um, we typically participate in a few job fairs that are particularly focused on disabilities and increasing access for job seekers in those categories. We also have a disability and accessibility affinity group that will often do different blogs or posts to increase awareness. Sometimes they will have activities specific in the month of October. And then I guess last but not least, my organization, the Institute of International Education, helps administer a pretty wide variety of international exchange and scholarship programs. One of the household names in our portfolio are the Fulbright programs. And not only do our Fulbright programs, but some of our other programs have teams that are thinking about how do we increase access to services on campuses for students that need some additional accessibility resources or other resources. And so they'll often share out resources or contact information at different universities to help increase awareness and accessibility to those resources across our students and our scholars. But yeah, I'll have to find out a little bit more about what's planned for this October, but usually it's those types of things.
That sounds awesome. Well, thank you, Matt, for sharing. I think, being part and taking part of this, like, different job fairs to increase recruitment, for individuals with disabilities is also a great way. As well as you mentioned about accessibility, within different colleges and universities and that collaboration. That's something that we're definitely working on specifically within our youth workforce development programming. As students within our program that are in high school that's getting ready to transition out to college, how do we have our participants become self-advocates, to be able to advocate for ADA needs while they're students, on college campuses as an individual with limb loss and limb difference, and how are we able to partner with different colleges and universities to really advocate, to make sure that campuses are inclusive and accessible. So thank you so much for sharing that. Mariana, how about you? Anything going on over at UCLA?
I'm not too sure what we have planned yet, but I know in the past, usually in October, we have the managers do their mandatory training regarding disability, employment. So I think that's something that we do every October, but regarding like workshops or events, I'm not too sure yet exactly what we have planned.
Well, that sounds great, and thank you for sharing the newsletter a couple weeks ago on, I think it was called Disability, which is
Yeah.
which was really cool. It was an awesome newsletter. I'll share it out to anyone on the council who wasn't able to see it, but essentially it was just all about different programming and events that was going on UCLA's campus, you know, pertaining to students with disabilities and disability awareness. So I thought that was really cool. Before we go to the next topic, do we have any questions, comments, last minute thoughts?
No.
Perfect. So the next topic that I have is our 2024 Amputee Coalition National Conference. So I just wanted to kind of go over with what our workforce development track looks like at National Conference this year. So we'll have a variety of different breakout sessions and opportunities for our participants to be able to, you know, network with employers and organizations and colleges and universities, you know, if they're needing assistance with like resume or interviewing skills and things of that nature. So the first event that we're going to have is our workforce development fireside chat. So a couple of individuals on our council will be part of that fireside chat, including Easter Seals. So Miss Ayanna Washington will be on that panel and one of her colleagues. I know Solomon Romney from Microsoft will also be on that panel. And I believe also, yes, Lisa Sealy will be on that panel as well. And will you be joining us at National Conference also? Or is Lisa gonna be the only representative attending?
Lisa at this time is going to be the only one attending.
Okay, okay. So hopefully next year, you'll be able to have the opportunity and to join us as well. And then also we'll have our resume review. So this will be the opportunity for participants to be able to have their resume reviewed by me or other employers or organizations that will be joining us at conference within our workforce development track. We'll also have a mock interviewing session where participants will have the opportunity, you know, to go over interview questions and, you know, things that may come up during the interview process. We'll also have a career networking session with one of our community members with limb loss and limb difference, and also a professional within the college and university space, giving some tips and tricks on career networking. And then we'll also have a college readiness breakout session to just talk about the process as someone within a limb loss and limb difference community, how they're able to, you know, apply for resources, ADA accommodations within, you know, disability resource centers. What is that process like, and things of that nature. So we'll be having a Georgia University come out and do that presentation with us in Atlanta. I'm also going to include the link to registration for our national conference for those who may still be interested in attending. The registration is still open. So I just dropped that link in the chat. So registration is still open for conference. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to either reach out to Paula or I, and we'll make sure we get your questions answered. Any questions on national conference? If any questions, like I mentioned, come up, just definitely send me an email. Hi, Julia. It's good to see you on the call.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good. I know I missed part of the first part, but I heard the second half of the intro. So
No worries at all. The first topic area that we discussed was National Disability Employment Awareness Month in October. So we were just kind of going over with each organization what they had planned or any events that may be going on for National Disability Employment Awareness Month. So interested to see, do you know, Julia, if the National Youth Employment Coalition is doing anything for the month of October for National Disability Employment Awareness Month?
no, currently we aren't. I was in a call earlier today with one of our members who specifically, gets their dollars through Voc Rehab and um primarily works with youth with disabilities. But I think probably, one of the best things that we could plan for October, and I'm working on the workshops now, so open to anybody interested in maybe presenting, would be doing one of our virtual workshops. We've done that for a couple of months, doing like Mental Health Awareness Month or Pride Month, and specifically having a workshop dedicated to that topic area, because our virtual workshops are twice a month. So I will put it on the calendar, though. I think that might be a good idea.
Yeah, for sure. And that's definitely something, Julia, we could talk about offline as well. Maybe, Amputee Coalition, Workforce Development Department could take part in that, as well as maybe one of our or a couple of our employment council members. I think it'll be great. I was going to mention as well as we get up to October, maybe having the council kind of brainstorm and me brainstorming on ways that we could have an event for the Amputee Coalition's Workforce Development Department, in relation to National Disability Employment Awareness Month. I think that would be great. So we still have a couple months, I think about 4 months to plan. But maybe that's something that we could start brainstorming. And I'll also be talking with Paula as well, and maybe a couple of different events or projects that the council and me and Paula would be able to work on. So we'll definitely touch base on that within the coming weeks.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I seen your message, Maria, about will you be providing individual cooling systems?
Yeah, my boss, when she saw the request to go to the conference, she's like, wow, Atlanta in August, you are very brave.
It will definitely be a hot one for sure.
It could be worse.
Last year, our conference was in Orlando, and that's where I'm from. I'm from the Orlando area, so I'm used to the heat, but it was definitely very hot last year. And then the year prior, we were in Palm Springs, California, which was a different type of heat. So August, it definitely gets hot during those months in the summertime for sure. Well, great. So I figured now we could take this time, and Paula had this idea of for us to go over like the overview of the national unemployment rates for people with disabilities, specifically through ODEP. So I'm going to pull those up real quick. And I'm also going to send the link in the chat. So that way, you guys want to take a look at it as well. We go look at it together. And so specifically, the disability employment statistics from the Office of Disability Employment Policy comes out every month. And it just shows the statistics of individuals with disabilities between the ages of 16 to 64. What is the percentage? Who are the individuals with disabilities who may be working? The individuals that are unemployed, as well in comparison with individuals who do not have disabilities. So for May 2024, looking at the labor force participation rates, we see that we have 41.7% of individuals with disabilities working, and this is between the ages of 16 to 64. And then in comparison, we have individuals without disabilities. That number is 77.7%. So we see, even though we're almost kind of at that 50% range of individuals with disabilities participating in employment and are working, that's still a pretty good disparity from individuals who do not have disabilities. Also, looking at the unemployment rates for people with disabilities in May, that unemployment rate was 8.3% versus the unemployment rate for persons without a disability was 3.6%. So again, that number is pretty substantial compared to those with disabilities versus those without disabilities. It's almost about a 5% difference. So it's always interesting to be able to look at the statistics, each month to say, okay, are the numbers going higher for unemployment rates? Are we dropping it? Of course, we always want to see those numbers decrease for unemployment rates for persons with disabilities, and make sure that, we're continuing to have inclusive practices and trainings, within organizations to ensure that we are, increasing our rates for individuals with disabilities in the workplace. So I will take a pause here, see if anyone has any thoughts or questions or comments about the statistics for May for persons with disabilities working and the unemployment rates.
Are the numbers for individuals that are receiving SSI or SSDI? Because we do know that we have individuals out there that do have disabilities that do not qualify for financial assistance.
That's a great question, and I will definitely follow up with Paula on that because, yeah, like you mentioned, we're talking about those between the 16 to 64 age range. That's around the period where, folks may be receiving, disability benefits or retirement benefits. So I will definitely follow up with Paula on that for sure.
And is that it's full-time employment or like part-time? And the other question is, my guess is that there's not really data showing, and I'm looking through really, really quickly, but not really data showing like the types of employment that folks are getting into. And I think that's really valuable to highlight in the work that we do. We obviously want to get folks into high quality jobs, career pathways, even if they're starting an entry level position, that there's something more for them. So I'm just thinking of like, do you really consider, a lower unemployment rate of success if most of the people are working minimum wage jobs with no ability to, climb any sort of ladder? So it's not for us to figure out today, but just something to think about, in general, when we see these statistics on like what the true value of it is.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, Julia. It doesn't specify, if this is specifically for full-time employment or part-time. I would think it would be a combination of both part-time and full-time. But I also definitely agree with your point as well, is if we're able to have a breakdown of, the different career industries, that individuals with disabilities are participating in and have jobs in, it will be super valuable, to be able to have that data to say, okay, if we see someone, kind of more in the customer service realm, and that's a higher percentage, how do we work, what organizations offering customer service positions, so that way we could best support, our individuals looking to return to work with disabilities or those with limb loss and limb difference. So those are all really great points. We actually have collaborated with ODEP in the past at our national conference last year in Orlando, and still in pretty good conversation and collaboration with. So I think it's definitely worth a conversation, to have with them to say, hey, within your numbers, is there any way we could get a breakdown? And maybe not, if it's on like a monthly basis because they're releasing this every month, but just to be able to get a yearly breakdown on, those career interests of, individuals with disabilities being employed within different career fields. So I'll definitely be following up on that for sure. I don't know if you also seen, Julia, but if we scroll down, it's not the most recent numbers, but they do have the 2023 youth labor force participation rate as well. So you could see like in 2023, we have youth ages 16 to 19. Those with disabilities that are in the workforce is 27% versus those that don't have a disability is 37%. So we are still seeing about a 17%, discrepancy, between those with disabilities, youth with disabilities, and those without disabilities, as well as within the unemployment rate for youth as well. So also interesting to see those numbers because, for us as a council, how do we best support, youth with disabilities looking to go into the workforce, right? What kind of practices and procedures and training do we have in place, to best support youth, who may have disabilities looking to go into the workforce. So, I know Walgreens is not on the call this afternoon, but with Walgreens having their Ready program, where they have an on-the-job training program for high school students with disabilities to help prepare them for work readiness and employment once they graduate high school, right? So how could we really implement more of those programmings to ensure that we're, decreasing that rate of unemployment rate for youth with disabilities who are wanting to work, but maybe don't have the resources in place or don't know about the resources in place for them to be able to work. So I thought that was really interesting as well, and something for us to think about and to do a deeper dive on for sure. Any other thoughts or comments on the disability labor force statistics? Well, perfect. I think right now I left the rest of the meeting for us to just kind of have open forum and just to get updates, from you guys, from the council on, what you guys are doing, within your organizations, any events or opportunities coming up that we could share with our workforce development participants. So I'll leave time now, for us to discuss if there's any programming going on that we could share within our workforce development program.
Well, I do know that we're going to have a couple webinars come up. I can share that get that information and share it with you. But I did want to ask real quick, are you going to have an agenda for the conference that you're going to be having in Atlanta?
Yes, from my understanding, we might already have a preliminary agenda for conference already with the link that I provided. But the agenda will probably be more formalized as we get closer to conference, but there should be a preliminary agenda already on our conference website.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, would love to and get those webinar dates and opportunities for us to share out with our participants. So if you or Lisa are able to share those out, would love to be able to join some of those webinars and have our participants take part in that as well.
I mentioned this last call, but I'll put in the chat just for us the youth days in Washington, D.C. And I think I owed it a follow-up to Paula, so I'll be sure to I'll just send an an email in that thread that we have. But I did want to mention that not to compete with your conference at all, but our early bird registration closes June 22nd. So essentially next Friday. If you guys are thinking about attending, would love to have you, would love to chat offline if you want to learn more about it. And then if you're a member of the coalition, you receive a discount. So two opportunities for discounts.
Thank you, Julia, for sharing. I think, that would be a great opportunity for our youth leadership council to take part in, to be able to, advocate within DC and within Capitol Hill. As I mentioned, we have a youth leadership council that kind of takes part in like annual service projects and like self-advocacy and things of that nature. So we'll love to set up some time to chat. So maybe we could get that on the books.
I'll send you an email, Trinaya, and I'll include our youth leadership coordinator as well. So I think she would be good to talk to about getting young people involved, and she's helping plan the whole thing.
Okay.
So yeah, we can chat. And I know the woman I was talking about earlier, who is working in Florida, or I was gonna say she is working in Florida in around getting youth with disabilities employed. So I'll probably send a connector email to you anyway for that, because she's having some trouble. And I was like, I know somebody located in Florida. So yeah, I'll be sure to send maybe two emails.
Great. No, that sounds awesome. Yeah, we'll love to connect with her. Very familiar with the resources in Florida, specifically for employment for those with disabilities. So would definitely be happy to help for sure. That sounds great.
Thank you. Yeah, that'd be so helpful.
How about Maria, Mariana, or Matt? Any opportunities or programs coming up that we should be aware of for us to share with our workforce participants?
I apologize. My connectivity dropped, so I had to sign back in, but I think if I'm understanding the question correctly, I can share that, we have a number of open job opportunities on our website. And so I could put the link to our website in the chat. And we also try to make it up front and center that if there are any accommodations needed for accessibility during the job application process or the whole recruitment process, we have a dedicated phone line, dedicated email. We will be happy to support any job seekers that need those things. But yeah, we have, off the top of my head, I think we have around 14 or 15 open positions at the moment. So I can share that link.
No, that sounds great. And then I could share that definitely with our participants. So if we have any participants that may be interested in the positions and they go ahead and apply, what's the best process, Matt? Would it be contacting you, or would it be like reaching out to like a talent acquisition member to say, hey, we have this person that applied, here's their resume, or if we had this person that applied, could you check out their application? Interesting.
No, great question. There's kind of two routes one can take. One is that when they complete the application, there'll be a question about how they learned about the opportunity. And I think in this case, the best drop down would probably be other, and then they could write in, the organization's name, Amputee Coalition. And then if they're in contact with you, they can, you can alert me to their application. You can also share my direct email so they can alert me. They do have to apply through our website. But if I know that somebody has applied as essentially a referral through the Amputee Coalition, at the very least, I will get the resume and application materials in front of the supervisor if they're qualified for the position. So hopefully that might lead to exploring the opportunity through a phone screening or the next steps in the recruitment process. So they can fill it out on the application and then also alert you to alert me or alert me directly, and we can go from there.
No, that's very helpful. Thank you so much, Matt. So yeah, we'll definitely follow that process. I have a couple of participants in mind. I think would be good candidates. So, yeah, definitely we'll be in touch with those candidates for sure.
Great.
How about Mariana? Anything going on at UCLA that we should know
Well,
about?
similar to Matt, we have a few remote positions on our job board, so I could go ahead and post the link. If you know of anyone that is looking for a position, you could just let me know and I'll contact the recruiter that's responsible for that role.
Great, that sounds awesome. Yeah, we always have participants that are looking for remote positions. So definitely, we'll pass that along as well. I think that would be great. Perfect. And then Maria, any opportunities, job opportunities or events going on within Walmart that we should be aware of?
There's just the routine, jobs on the careers at Walmart site. Similar to what Matt was describing though, if someone we don't really have a lot of touch at the stores, but they're always hiring. But if someone is interested in a position at our corporate office or one of our two field offices, if they would want to let me know and I can try and, they still have to go through the website, but we could try and alert the supervisor to the existence of an additional person.
No, that sounds great. Yeah, I know one participant that we have that comes to mind that was interested in a Walmart corporate position, has many years of experience within HR. So I'll follow up with him to see if the application was put through, if you put through the application. And if so, I'll send you an email to let you know. I'll give you his info and name and everything.
Perfect.
Awesome. So I know we have about 20 minutes left. If anyone doesn't have any questions, I could give everyone back 20 minutes of their time. Maurice, I don't know if you had any questions or anything that I missed or anything that we should add.
No, Janae, I would just say that it's really exciting as our Youth Leadership Council grows and works on their annual service projects. I think it's going to be paramount to have community partners like all of the individuals and organizations, colleges, universities that are on this call to be able to help support our youth and bring them alongside in the decisions that we're making. I think it'll be great to create a conversation with our young people about, navigating the workplace, navigating post-secondary pursuits, and having community partners to be able to support them in their, entry points and their genesises in the workplace in their post-secondary pursuits. So I'm super excited to see what's to come with our Youth Leadership Council at the Amputee Coalition and how our community partners can come around them and support them.
Thank you, Maurice. We're also coming up on our youth camp in the next couple weeks, so that's very exciting as well. It's going to be in Texas at Camp Aranzazu. So we will be having a workforce development component to youth camp this year, where we'll be having a local college coming in, talking about college readiness and accommodations, as well as voc rehab within the Texas area, talking about resources and services and how students with disabilities and those with limb loss and limb difference could get connected. So super excited about that. And then also for our next employment council call in July, I will also be sending out the agenda as well. But we're going to be having our president of the Youth Leadership Council coming in and doing a brief presentation on our youth workforce development program, and a little bit about her journey, within the workforce development program here at the Amputee Coalition, and giving her insight. Her name is Divine. Divine is our president, and yeah, she's super excited to be speaking with all the council members next month. So we'll be setting that up, and she'll be talking to everyone on the council. But yeah, if there's no other questions, as always, if you have any questions that come up after the call, definitely feel free to reach out to me. And then we'll have our recap meeting tomorrow at 4. For council members who are not able to join this call this afternoon. But I'll make sure to send out the recording as well by the end of the week so everyone has it. Yeah, if there's no other questions, it was great speaking with everyone as always. And I look forward to chatting soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a great afternoon. Take care.